These are the 24 copycat characters in Jujutsu Kaisen, and I'm going to explain the crazy connections they have with characters from other anime. Gege Akutami admitted that Jujutsu Kaisen drew heavy inspiration from iconic anime like Bleach and Hunter x Hunter. He even revealed that Aoi Todo was his own take on Bleach's Kanpachi Zaraki. And there's even a sorcerer in Jujutsu Kaisen who doesn't just look like another character, they practically share the same life story. And one of them is even based on a powerful ninja from Naruto, and that is Kenjaku. This guy can easily be compared to one of the three legendary Sannin and former Akatsuki member Orochimaru. Kenjaku and Orochimaru aren't just powerful villains with cunning personalities, they're also straight up geniuses with a twisted talent for immoral experiments. Like Kenjaku created the Cursed Womb, death paintings, and Orochimaru experimented on humans to achieve immortality. Actually, Orochimaru was kind of successful since he developed a living corpse reincarnation jutsu, aka Fushi Tensei, which allowed him to transfer his soul into another living body. Kinda like how Kenjaku body hopped using a brain transplant. Kenjaku's most recent host, Suguru Geto, on the other hand, was comparable to none other than Bleach's Sosuke Aizen. Both started on the good side, but eventually got sick of the laws and norms of their worlds, leading them to desire creating their own. Geto had a vision of a world with no curses, and to make that happen, he was ready to wipe out all non-sorcerers, while Aizen, who used to be a Gotei 13 captain, decided he was done following orders and aimed to take down the Soul King to become the god of his own world. And speaking of twisted souls, Geto could also be compared to Obito, aka Tobi from Naruto. Obito wanted to trap everyone in the infinite Tsukuyomi, making a world where people could live out their perfect lives with no pain, just like how Geto wanted a world free of curses. Geto and Obito even challenged their worlds, sorcerers and ninjas, with all-out wars, Geto's night parade of 100 demons, and Obito's 4th Shinobi War. Now besides the big conflicts other characters have, there are also simple similarities, like Meimei and Granny Tsunade. Both of them have that insane physical strength and that physical gyat. But unlike Tsunade, the Hokage from the Hidden Leaf who mastered the ultimate healing move, Ninja Art Creation Rebirth, it wasn't shown if Meimei can pull off something like that with JJK's reverse curse technique. Then there's the rockstar grandpa, Yoshinobu Gakuganji, who also has a bunch of lookalikes from other series too. Feels like, grandpa characters are just popular, Take for example the ex-head captain of the 1st Division, Genryusai Shigekuni Yamamoto from Bleach. Meh, when you hear badass grandpa, he's gotta be the first one that comes to mind, right? But while Yamamoto's Zanpakuto was totally overpowered, Yoshinobu's powers are pretty meh. I mean, he's not exactly strong. The only real similarities between them are their long white beards and brows. And of course, there's roles as leaders. For Gakuganji, he's a principal of Kyoto High and a member of the Jujutsu higher-ups. As for Captain Yamamoto, he was the founder and the former commander of the 13 Court Guard Squads in the Soul Society, aka the Gotei 13. And speaking of grandpa leaders, Gakuganji also kind of looks like the ex-chairman of the Hunters Association, Isaac Nadero, who like Yamamoto was definitely a powerful character in his own series. Basically, Principal Yoshinobu is kind of like a bootleg version of these OP characters. Aside from Gakuganji, there's also a grandpa who looked more like Netero, Jiro Awasaka. Actually, if you look at this curse user, his outfit even matched the chairman's fashion. Like, check out that fitted shirt, and even the trademark socks. Jiro also had the top-knot bald head, just like Netero. Plus, Jiro's inverse innate ability made him a tough grandpa who can easily tank even the strongest attacks. Kinda like Netero's steel-like body. And you know what's an even bigger coincidence? Jiro fought the two MCs, Yuji and Megumi, just like Netero fought and played with Gon and Killua during their Hunter exam. But unlike Netero, who just toyed with the kids, Jiro got totally trashed by Megumi and Yuji. And it's not just Netero. Jiro also looked like the royal guard member of the Soul King Palace, Ichibe Hyusube. And they're not just spitting images, both of them are also very cocky. If you remember, there was an evil organization that wanted to turn the Jujutsu world upside down, Q. And if you look at their appearance, it's like being reminded of the extremely powerful spiritual beings from Bleach, the Quincy's. Are they trying to sign up for the Navy or what? Well, it's like Q was literally a nod to the Quincy's. But honestly, I think it felt like a diss because, let's be real, Quincy's are crazy strong compared to that trash group Q, who got wrecked by Geto and Gojo in no time. Of course, our boy Yuji didn't escape being compared to characters from other series. Like, he's basically a combination of Natsu and Naruto. I mean, aside from having the same hair color as Natsu, these three also possess the power of Talk no Jutsu. You know how Naruto always tried to redeem his enemies and bring them back to the good side. Yuji did the same when he convinced Junpei back in chapter 26, and when he tried to give Sukuna a second chance in chapter 265. Natsu's focus on teamwork and friendship are also some of Yuji's trademarks. Even in Yuji's domain expansion, he was like Naruto with his Talk no Jutsu. Also, in case you forgot, Naruto was forced to become a Jinchuriki, the host of the insanely broken powers of the Nine-Tailed Fox, Kurama, much like how Yuji became Sukuna's vessel. Though for Naruto and Kurama, they eventually became pals, which is obviously totally impossible for anybody with Sukuna. But hear me out on this. There is another character who not only looks like our boy Yuji, but also has almost the same turning points and events in their life. None other than Ichigo Kurosaki. At the beginning of the scene played by the villains right from the start, Yuji was always meant to be Sukuna's vessel, and his whole messed up family situation was all part of Kenjaku's plan. As for Ichigo, Aizen was pulling the strings the whole time, even setting up how Ichigo became a Shinigami in the first place. And get this, Ichigo's dad, Isshin Kurosaki, wasn't just a regular human dad, he was a Shinigami too. And not just any Shinigami, but a former captain of the 10th division of the Gotei 13. Aside from that, take a look at this scene in panel. When Yuji was defeated by Kenjaku in chapter 133, it was almost exactly like when Ichigo was trashed by Byakuya's Bankai. And that's not even the end of it. You see, Ichigo isn't just your average Shinigami. He's got all the powers in the Bleach universe. He's the son of a Shinigami and a Quincy, and his birth was affected by an altered hollow. Hybrid doesn't even come close to describing him. And you know how Yuji's powers kept leveling up during his fight with Sukuna? Turns out, he's the son of Sukuna's twin reincarnation, and his mom had this insane anti-gravity ability. On top of that, he was also a sibling of the Curse-Womb Death Painting brothers, and ended up with the Kamo clan's innate curse technique. Basically, Yuji's got blood manipulation, Sukuna's shrine technique, soul capture, and even a domain expansion. In short, both Ichigo and Yuji are living cheat codes with all those broken abilities. Speaking of prodigies with OP techniques and classic fam issues within their clans, how about comparing Megumi Fushiguro and Uchiha Sasuke? Megumi can easily be considered an elite sorcerer, even though he's still young. He even possesses the prized 10 shadows of the Zenin clan, just like the special Sharingan eyes of the Uchiha clan. These techniques have layers of power, like the 10 shadows which range from normal Shikigami dogs to the OP Mahoraga. The Sharingan, on the other hand, can evolve into a Mangekyo, and even an internal Mangekyo, which can unleash the ultimate summon, Susanoo. While Megumi isn't exactly like Sasuke, who's the last of his clan, he was also sidelined by his family. Both of them were set apart because someone in their clan was messed up enough to turn everything upside down. For Megumi, it was his dad, Toji, who was seen as a disgrace because of his heavenly restriction, even though he was from an influential sorcerer clan. As for Sasuke, his big bro Itachi sided with the Hidden Leaf village and wiped out their entire family to prevent rebellion and war. Interestingly, both Toji and Itachi dished home to become rogue sorcerers and rogue ninjas. On top of that, Megumi and Sasuke are both targets for major villains and have been possessed by them. Megumi had his body taken over by Sukuna, who had been eyeing him from the start and even used the 10 shadows. Meanwhile, Sasuke had Orochimaru trying to take over his body to get his hands on the Sharingan. And if that's not enough, Megumi and Sasuke are part of trios with some uncanny similarities. A superhuman optimistic kid with a demon inside him, a tough and slightly violent girl, and a laid-back, white-haired teacher who's secretly one of the strongest characters around. With this anime trio formula, you might say Nobara and Sakura have some things in common, just like the other characters we've compared. Sure, they both wanted to get strong enough to fight alongside their friends, and yeah, they can both be kinda violent, but I think they're pretty different when it comes to character. Nobara came out swinging from the start, like she already had the elite sorcerer potential thanks to her curse technique. But Sakura, I'll just keep my mouth shut for that one. The only edge Sakura has over Nobara is she's still alive and kicking after the series Naruto. I don't want to take it here, but speaking of dead characters, what about Nanami? In terms of just looks, he could easily be compared to Ebisu Sensei from Naruto, or even Yasuchika Emura from the 4th division under Unohana. What's up with the gaga-like shades? But there's actually a character from a completely different series who could easily be comparable to Nanami. Yoshikage Kira of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Diamond is Unbreakable. Nanami and Kira share similar looks and personalities. They're both blonde, wear suits, and just want to live a quiet life. But when it comes to character, they are total opposites. Like Kira is the antagonist and a straight-up serial killer. Actually, Nanami was originally supposed to be a villain. In terms of morality, Nanami is more comparable to My Hero Academia's Eraserhead. Both are admired by their students and are top tier in their respective fields, whether it's being a sorcerer or a hero. Even though Nanami and Eraserhead are great at what they do, they don't go around showing off. They're not the most influential or charismatic, but that's part of their appeal. Like how Gojo outshines most sorcerers, just like All Might does in MHA. I think Nanami and Eraserhead are those, low-key characters that fans just love to watch. Aside from Nanami, by Principal Masamichi Yaga, you see, Yaga was a master puppeteer, using his curse technique to create living puppets like Panda. These puppets usually treated Yaga as their father. Ironically, Tetsuzaemon Iba used to be an underling of the 7th Division captain Komamura. And yeah, he's not a panda, but an anthropomorphic wolf. But you get my point, he's literally like a beast, just like Panda. So basically, Yaga and Iba are connected to beast-like characters like Panda and Komamura. But honestly, Yaga reminds me more of an OG villain from a 90s manga. Remember Toguro from Yu Yu Hakusho? Same hair and looks. And they both rock sunglasses. What more do you need? You might be wondering why I'm comparing a pretty old manga/anime series. But if you have noticed, JJK has a lot of references to Hunter x Hunter. Gege himself even said that Hunter x Hunter was one of his biggest inspirations. Plus, fun fact, Hunter x Hunter and Yu Yu Hakusho were both created by the same legend, Yoshihiro Togashi. So might as well bring both series into this comparison, right? Aside from Iba and Toguro, Yaga also looked like Killer Bee from Naruto. Well, kinda, because they're glasses. But I think they're both strong men with gentle hearts and personalities underneath. Killer Bee's big bro, A, the 4th Raikage of Kumogakure, bears a striking resemblance to a sorcerer from JJK, the former head of the Zenin clan, Naobito. And honestly, A and Naobito look so alike that you'd think they were blood brothers. But that's not all. Aside from leading their clan and village, they're both known as the fastest characters in their series. In fact, they'd probably be the fastest if it weren't for some overpowered characters out there. For Naobito, his projection sorcery could have easily made him the fastest sorcerer. But, unfortunately, Gojo was around to outshine everyone. And for A, his lightning release chakra mode is insanely fast, with only one person surviving the 4th Raikage speed, Minato Namikaze, the yellow flash and 4th Hokage of Konoha. On top of that, both Naobito and A lost an arm in battle. Naobito lost his right arm fighting the special great curse, Dagon, while the 4th Hokage had to cut off his own left arm when Sasuke hit him with Amaterasu. Aside from Naobito, the powerful shinobi from the Hidden Cloud can also be compared to Grade 1 sorcerer Aoi Todo. With Todo's Boogie Woogie, his reaction speed in battle is insane, just like the lightning fast speed of the 4th Raikage. And interestingly, Todo has lost his left arm, just like A. The crazy thing is, both Todo and A made the decision to cut off their arms instantly, without a second thought, to stop the damage from spreading through their bodies. I mean, these two's focus is just different level in a fight. Speaking of beastly brawlers, Akutami actually revealed in a Mando Kobayashi interview that Todo was inspired by Bleach's fight junkie, Kenpachi Zaraki. Akutami mentioned that Todo was his take on the 11th Division captain of the Gotei 13. Plus, Gege picked the name Todo to give him that strong character vibe. One of the noticeable similarities between them would be the scars near their left eyes. Kenny and Aoi might have different personalities, but they're both powerful characters who help the main characters improve by essentially fighting them. Todo trained Yuji and taught him about Jujutsu and even controlling cursed energy while they fought. Zaraki helped Ichigo unlock his full potential by going wild in their battle during the Soul Society arc. But unlike Kenpachi, who charges headfirst into any fight, Haruta Shigemo loved causing trouble but would run away if he thought he was outmatched. This cycle seems to be loosely based on Deidara from Naruto's Akatsuki, because they both have long yellow hair and share a similar obsession with violence. Deidara saw his explosion release as a form of art and loved messing with people using his clay bombs. Shigemo was the same, getting a kick out of torturing weaker sorcerers. Like, why are there always, these psychos and like these two in every anime? Even though they look alike and share similar personalities, their powers are on totally different levels. Shigemo versus an Akatsuki? Not even close. Aside from Deidara, there's another Akatsuki copycat in JJK, Kokichi Muta, who controlled his puppets from a distance because of his body's condition. Just like one of the original members of the Akatsuki, Nagato. Basically, Muta had a heavenly restriction that made his body so weak that he couldn't even go out in the sun. In Nagato's case, he was pretty strong already, being a descendant of the Uzumaki clan and possessing the most superior dojutsu, the Rinnegan. But his body grew weak after being connected to his 6 puppets through the Rinnegan for so long, along with the black rods that linked him to the demonic statue of the Outer Path, aka the Ten Tails. That's why he stayed inside a remote place where he could control his puppets without any disturbances. Sounds like me when I'm reading manga and I don't want to go out and my friends want to hang. And I'm like, no, I'm busy. Unfortunately for both of them, they didn't achieve their ultimate goal before they died. And since they're both skillful puppet users, Muta's ultimate Mechamaru was pretty much like Pain. The only difference was that Muta controlled a single android-like puppet with basically every ability he needed. Nagato, on the other hand, used the 6 paths of Pain to control human puppets, each with its own special skills, like the Deva path with gravity-like powers and the Preta path who could absorb any ninjutsu techniques. Now, if Mahito is one of the most hated characters in Jujutsu Kaisen, then Naruto has his own equally annoying counterpart, Kabuto. Like almost everything they did was straight up evil. And the worst part was, they weren't even sorry about it. But they weren't just your typical villains. Mahito and Kabuto were actually big-time players who shook things up in the story. When Kenjaku absorbed Mahito, he was able to use the special grade curse's idle transfiguration to tweak the brains of non-sorcerers and awaken ancient sorcerers, bringing the calling games into motion. On the other hand, Kabuto and his massive army of reanimated ninjas became a major problem during the 4th Shinobi War. Aside from Kabuto, Mahito could easily be compared to Shigaraki from My Hero Academia. I mean, these two villains both have blue hair, they have powers that involve their hands, possess insane abilities that make it hard for their targets to heal, and they both have creepy transformations. Toge Inumaki's cool personality can also be compared to a few other characters. Judging by his appearance, Inumaki looks like Kaneki Ken from Tokyo Ghoul. Is it just me, or do characters usually look alike because they have the same hair color sometimes? Because aside from the hair and character design, there aren't any striking similarities between the two. Like that also goes for Killua, the assassin kid from Hunter x Hunter with, lightning, who even dressed like Inumaki in this picture. But aside from looks, Toge's personality and abilities can be compared to Shino Aburame from Naruto. Both of these guys wield powers that are known in their clans, the cursed speech of the Inumaki clan and the ability to control different kinds of insects in the Aburame clan. On top of that, they're both calm and soft-spoken, but when it comes to a fight, Inumaki and Aburame are super reliable because of their strength and abilities. Speaking of clans, Noritoshi Kamo seems to reference a Naruto character, and it's pretty obvious when you consider their similarities and the issues they faced within their powerful and influential families. That's right, it was Neji Hyuga. They both have the powerful techniques from their clans. Noritoshi has his blood manipulation, and Neji has his Byakugan. When Noritoshi uses flowing red skills, which boosts his physical capabilities, it's kind of like Neji activating his Byakugan, which increased blood flow to his eyes and enhances his vision. That's not all. They both just wanted a family, but their status in their clans made that way more complicated. Noritoshi just wanted a normal family with his mom, but being the heir to the Kamo clan made that impossible, especially since his mom was exiled from the family. Neji always wanted his father back and blamed the Hyuga clan for what happened to him. Norotoshi's schoolmate, Momo Nishimiya, bears a resemblance to Bleach's Hiyori Saga, which not only share the same hairstyle, but both of them even ride a broom. Momo's character sheet even says her hairstyle gives off a vibe that says, "I enjoy flying quietly," which is also the first thing the senior witch says to Kiki in the movie. Compared to Momo's loud personality, this guy probably had the complete opposite, Junpei Yoshino. And his gloomy and introverted nature is quite similar to the Shinigami Izuru Kira. But hold your horses, because their emo sides were still pretty different from each other. Junpei hated people and the society itself, to the point that he thought everyone should die. But that's not the way Kira had depression. I mean, he was literally just an overthinker, and even doubted his own skills and abilities. And this attitude was even displayed in his Zanpakuto, Wabisuke. Like, the power of his Shikai was quite simple. Every time he clashes with the enemy's sword, the opposing weapon literally becomes heavier. Damn, what if Junpei actually developed a curse technique, like the abilities of Wabisuke? One of my stands, the grade 1 sorcerer teacher, Atsuya Kusakabe, also looks like another Shinigami, Isshin Kurosaki. Even though both of these guys have a goofy and laid-back nature most of the time, they can get serious and be extremely reliable when the situation gets tough. Kusakabe showed off his skills against Sukuna, while Isshin was a major help in the battle against Aizen. That's not all. Both Kusakabe and Isshin played a huge role in helping the MCs tap into their ultimate techniques. Yuji figured out how to open his domain expansion after training with Kusakabe's new Shadow Style technique, while Ichigo unlocked his final Getsuga Tensho after learning the foundations from his dad, Isshin. The King of Curses even had a kind of a twin from Bleach too, the Arrancar, Grimmjow, Jaegerjax. Both of them definitely hated the MCs Yuji and Ichigo. Both have a slicing technique, Sukuna's Cleave and Dismantle, and Grimmjow's strongest technique, Descaron. And you can say that both of them are also badass trash talkers and the real deal villains. They even have the same voice actor, Junichi Suwabe. Plus, does the hole in their stomach count? I mean, Sukuna has a nasty mouth on his belly, and Grimmjow, being in Arrancar, had a hole in his stomach. But this one's a real hole, because, you know, it's completely hollow. Probably the first characters that come to mind when you compare Jujutsu Kaisen to Naruto are Satoru Gojo and Kakashi Hatake. Aside from the uncanny resemblance, you know, white hair, they cover their eyes, they have special powers, they're both the mentors of a trio with DMC, and they're pretty much laid back but complete beasts during battles. Gojo possessed the 6 eyes while Kakashi had his best bro's Sharingan. When Kakashi had the trademark Uchiha eyes, he even had a power that was somewhat similar to Gojo because Kakashi can distort space itself using Kamui, while Gojo cheats with space using his infinity. Now, you know what, if you think about it, who do you think would win in a clash of space-bending powers? And don't forget, that's only a fraction of Gojo's insanely powerful abilities, being one of the strongest sorcerers in Jujutsu Kaisen.